Hi guys, today I'm back with another foundation review, and today I am reviewing the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation. I've been trying this out for the past few weeks, and as always I'll be showing you application, before and after, flash photo test, how it looks in natural light, and of course how it looks at the end of the day. I will have timestamps linked down below if you'd like to skip ahead to any of those specific points, along with a blog post that has this foundation swatched next to some of my other foundations if you're trying to figure out how to match yourself, along with some other links of other foundation reviews and things that I've done. And if you enjoy this style of video, be sure to subscribe, but let's go ahead and get started. So this foundation retails for $40 American, $58 Canadian on the Sephora website. You're getting 1.18 fluid ounces in here, which is a little bit more than the average size of a foundation. And actually on the Canadian website, there's 18 shades listed. On the American, there's a few more, plus this kind of like neutralizing mixer, which is interesting. Normally you have the same amount of shades in Canada and the US. I'm not sure if they plan on expanding to Canada, but I do like the packaging. I think it looks super sleek. I like the squeezy tube. I have mine in the shade 8.5. I purchased this online, so it seems like a pretty good match for me. I'm not sure if any of the other shades would be an even better match, but I will have some previous foundation reviews in my shade in some more popular foundations if you're trying to figure out your match. This foundation says that it has light coverage. It says it is good for dry, combo, oily, and normal skin, and they list the finish as natural. It says it has all day hydration, buildable coverage, natural, healthy looking glow. That's kind of all the stuff that I look for in a foundation. I would say I'm about combination skin right now, so but it is really, really hot and humid in Toronto. I'm gonna go ahead and prime half of my face, and then we will get into application. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a sponge. Like I said, I feel like this shade is pretty good. It might be a little bit warmer and deeper than my absolute ideal, but I know, like, I had the other Giorgio Armani. I actually do still have it. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I feel like the shade looks almost gray. I can't remember if I have shade 8 or which shade I have. So this one is definitely warmer, but I'm probably more on the neutral undertone, or like a golden peachy neutral is how I describe myself, whether that makes sense or not. But yeah, I've been wearing more neutral foundations over super yellow golden. But as you can see, like, this I've got lots of breakouts too, so luckily we'll be able to test coverage. But just with a sponge, you're going to get a little bit less coverage. It depends on the look you're going for. I do find this to be buildable. If you want to get more coverage out of it, you can use a brush, like a denser packed brush. But I always recommend, especially if you're oily, if you want a full coverage foundation, buy a full coverage foundation as opposed to buying something like this, which says it's more skin-like, more natural, and trying to build it up to full, because you're just going to end up putting so much on your face, and it's definitely, for me anyways, gets greasy. But I really like this. I really like this coverage. I also have their new concealer that I'm going to test out today. So let's see how it does on these breakouts. I think my mask is breaking me out, because these are like different pimples than I normally get. Normally my acne is a little more cystic, and these are not cystic breakouts that I have. So, and it's only on the lower half of my face, which again tends to mean like hormonal, but these are not my normal hormonal breakouts. So I don't know if my acne is just changing to mess me up, or if it's my face mask. But all those people who say don't wear makeup and your skin will get better, I think staying home for 3-4 months, we can now determine that that is a lie. Like, my skin should look amazing. So while the color is actually a little bit warmer and deeper than my face, my body is a little warmer and deeper, so I think it does end up working out. And then when I get concealer and everything on, I think it evens itself out. But it's hard to figure out your shade online. I find it's very hard for me to find people who review foundations, blog, Instagram, YouTube, that have a similar skin tone. There's a couple people. So up next, I'm going to use the Giorgio Armani, or Armani Beauty, I think is what they actually call it, Luminous Silk Concealer. This one I have in the shade 6.5, which is described as a medium with warm undertone. This is supposed to be medium coverage, but radiant and creamy. I think this shade is definitely a little lighter than I would have wanted. I maybe would have went with 7. But I really love the doe foot applicator on this. It's like, it comes to a point, so I guess it's not a true doe foot, but I really enjoy it, and it seems to distribute the product nicely, and you do get a decent amount of product in here. You get 0.4 fluid ounces, which is good. So I'm just gonna let that set under my eyes. While I do that, let's chat about Flash Photo. I thought it looked really good here in my natural light. There's definitely some sheen to my skin, but in the Flash Photo, I thought it performed really well. It doesn't look like I have a white cast on my face. You are getting that sheen, but I thought it looked quite nice. So I'm impressed with that. But of course, when it comes to Flash Photo, like, it's really going to depend. Like, your concealer, your powder, all of these things really come into play. And I find with this concealer, I would definitely consider this like a light to medium. And I find medium and light coverage concealers are the hardest. Like, sometimes they just make my under eyes look worse for some reason. It's hard to find. Like, I think my favorite ever medium coverage concealer is the Urban Decay Naked, which was then discontinued, sadly. But I do like this, and I think when you see it blended out under my eyes, it doesn't look too bright. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. I have all of my makeup on. As always, everything that I'm wearing will be listed down below. One of my favorite products that Armani Beauty does are actually these lip kind of tinty, it's like somewhere between like a lip tint and a liquid lipstick. It's got this great, like, really nice thin texture, but I really love the way everything looks. I did no spot concealing, and I think you can see that while my acne is, like, you know, it's still obviously there, it definitely, my skin is evened out, things look good, nothing looks heavy or feels heavy. There's not a ton of sheen on my skin. I added some highlighter. I am wearing very lightly a powder foundation. I love pairing a powder foundation with these lighter weight products. I didn't pack it into my skin or buff it in to add a ton of coverage, but just to amp it up a little bit, help with wear time. I really, really love the pairing of like a lighter weight liquid with a powder foundation. So I really love the way everything looks, so I will go ahead and wear this for a few more hours and then check in with you in some natural light. Hello, coming to you. It's been about 5-ish hours since I put the foundation on. I think things look really good. There's a little bit of shininess on my face. It's incredibly hot and humid today, as you can probably tell by the frizz in my hair, but I do really still love the way that it looks, even though it has gotten a little bit shiny. If you want, you can blot or powder. I'm gonna leave it, just because it doesn't feel uncomfortable or heavy or cakey. I don't feel like it has oxidized. I think the shade looks quite good. I did just eat lunch, and the lip product is like not completely there, but not completely gone. It's not meant to be like a super long wearing product. I did have a salad that had like lots of dressing, but yeah, I think things look really, really good. It still feels incredibly comfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear this for a few more hours, and I will see you then. Hello, I am back. It is the end of the day, and I am shiny. It is like almost 40 degrees Celsius in Toronto today. No idea what that is in Fahrenheit. We had a crazy thunderstorm and then a tornado warning. I've literally never seen that in my life. Didn't happen, thankfully. But anyways, back to the foundation. Definitely have quite a bit of shininess on my face. I feel like the side I primed, I was just looking in the mirror, it might be slightly more mattified. I used a Tatcha primer, which isn't necessarily meant to be for mattifying, but definitely shiny. But nothing has like slipped around or moved or patched off, which I think is important. Considering it's such a hot day today, I'm not super shocked because this is meant to be a glowy foundation, and I already produce a lot of glow on my skin no matter the weather. So I'm gonna blot a little bit because I think it's important to see how it actually looks after you blot. Like, I purposefully did not blot today because I wanted to see fully how it held up, but I think some foundations are better, or like are more easily touch-upable, if that makes sense, because sometimes, you know, you go to blot and it all comes off, or it ends up looking cakey. And I've been wearing this foundation for a few weeks. Part of my nose always gets oily. I've been wearing this foundation for a few weeks, and I gotta say, I really enjoy it. This is just the Rimmel Clear Complexion Powder. I think it touches up really nicely. Boom. And I would be happy to wear this for a few more hours. I haven't tested the other Armani Beauty foundation, so I can't compare. And I often get questions about, like, can you compare this to this and this to this? If I have reviewed it, you can always type my name into the YouTube search bar, Samantha Jane, whatever. And that way you can see my thoughts about that foundation and this foundation, because it's hard for me to compare everything that you might be curious about. But overall, if you're curious, I do really enjoy this foundation. I do recommend it. If you have super, super oily skin, you could probably guess that this might not be the best option for you, but I also don't think it's the worst option. My friend Sandra, who also has a YouTube channel, she really enjoys it. She's about a combo oily, tends to like more natural glowy things. So I find it to be glowy but not greasy, and if it held up pretty well under this really high heat, I think you might enjoy it. And this is not my first time trying it, and I have worn it without getting quite oily at the end of the day, but it is a really, really beautiful foundation. If you tend to like Armani Beauty or more luxury foundations, I do enjoy this, and I think it looks really good and natural on the skin. I didn't get any crazy oxidization. It touches up nicely. I didn't notice any really intense scent, but I'm not super sensitive to scents either. But overall, I do really enjoy this and have for the past few weeks. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!